Welcome back everyone. Hi, if you're new, my name is Tori and I make book related videos. So I have 5 books that I want to discuss with you guys. One of them I really enjoyed, one I DNF'd, one was just okay, and then 2 of them were excellent. So a lot to talk about. Let's just jump right into it. So the first book is Bogged, and this is by Philip K. Dick, and this book was great. This is my second Philip K. Dick book. The first one that I read was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I still love Do Androids Dream more, but this was just, it was still just as strong, but that one just has a special place in my heart. But Bogged, this was published, I believe, in the late 60s, early 70s, and so it takes place in the then future of 1992. And in this future, we have these people who have these psychic abilities, or what they're called psi abilities. They're either telepaths or precogs, and we have these companies that monitor the activities of these people with psi abilities, either for better or worse. We have anti-psi companies, and then you have people who are actually like trying to protect these people. So our main character, Joe Chip, he works for Runciter Associates, and Runciter is an anti-psi organization. And Runciter, the company, and the head of the company, Glenn Runciter, they get approached to secure this job on the moon. And so they go do that. Something happens. There's this massive explosion and it kills Glenn. And when they're all trying to get back down to earth, they get there and just reality starts to kind of unravel, and things are this gets so trippy in the best way. I just enjoyed everything about this book. As reality starts to crumble around these characters and people start dying in really mysterious ways, Joe starts realizing that the key to everything that is happening lies in this product called Bogged. And that's really kind of where the story goes from there. It's just so trippy and so crazy, and in one of the best ways I think I've read in a really long time. So really enjoyed this. If you're looking for a Philip K. Dick book, I think this is a really cool place to start. I would say start with Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep first, but man. And then next we are getting to the book that I DNF'd, and that is Wool, and this is by Hugh Howey. I got really far into this book. I got over like 60% in, and I know that's a lot until you realize that you probably should put the book down. But I'm so bad at DNFing books. It's really a challenge for me. I feel like I'm invested in it. I've dedicated this time to it, and I just like want to see it through no matter how bad or how good or whatever it is. But Wool got around the 60% mark, and I had to drop it. So Wool is a dystopian post-apocalyptic novel. In this future, we have this group of people who are living in this silo, and it's silos underground, and it essentially functions as a really large city. I mean, the floors are it goes all the way down into the earth. And so the book really kicks off on one character who is the sheriff of the silo. He just really can't take it anymore. He wants to go outside, and the outside world is, no one really knows what's out there, just that it's toxic, and if you go out there, you're gonna die. And so wishing to go outside is just a death sentence within itself. So that's what kicks off the whole story. The silo sheriff goes outside and his story becomes what it is. And then the deputy sheriff of the silo and the mayor of the silo, they need to replace him. So they venture down, deep down into the silo to find a replacement for this sheriff that has gone outside. And how do I talk about this book? It's boring. I really thought this book was just so dry for what it is in the plot, and it was just so frustrating to read. Like the whole journey of the deputy and the mayor venturing down into the silo alone took over, or maybe just about 100 pages. And it's like, really, oh my gosh, the narrative is just, it is really dry. It's like you have this really interesting premise and you're not getting what you need from it. I'm definitely in the unpopular opinion on this, because this book and the other ones in the trilogy are just so loved and praised, and here I am like, what? This next book here is one that I am just so obsessed with now. I love it. I loved everything about it. I loved every minute of reading it. I cannot wait to continue on with the series. It is so good. And that is Leviathan Wakes. And this is the first book in a very long, very epic sci-fi series. And this is by James S.A. Corey. Where do we start with this book, you guys? First of all, it is a chunker, and I flew through it. My goodness. So Leviathan Wakes, just really quickly, this is the first epic series in, I think, ever that I have felt so excited about, so passionate about, and so attached to these characters. So in Leviathan Wakes, we're following two different storylines. We have one perspective from Jim Holden, who is the executive officer on this ice hauler called the Canterbury. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have this other main character named Detective Miller, who is a detective on this asteroid, in the asteroid belt on this rock called Ceres. And Miller, has been employed to find this missing rich girl, Julie Mao, who disappeared and was taken hostage on a different ship. And then on the other hand, Jim, the XO, he and his crew, they stumble upon the ship that Julie Mao was originally on. And from there, we just get some like war brewing between the different planets, and this book has so many things intertwined. It's like a detective story, but it's also this really awesome space opera. There's action in it. It feels a little scary sometimes. I mean, there's just so much wrapped up into this, and at its core, as more things start unfolding and Miller's and Holden's paths start to cross, more comes to light about what Julie was doing on her ship, the Scopuli, and it just really blows some big things out of the water, some big revelations about things I can't tell you about right now. But this is the start of an epic series, and I felt myself smiling so much throughout this book because it has been a very long time since I've read something of this scope that is just so incredible like this. The characters in here are some of the best characters I think I have read in a very long time. Definitely this year. I found myself just really attached to everybody, especially Naomi Nagata. My goodness, that character. Can we just give her a medal? That's all I ask for in life. And then also Holden, can we just keep him away from broadcasting things for a while? That would be really cool. And then the book that I just thought was kind of so-so was The Rage of Dragons, and this is by Evan Winter. This book, I almost DNF'd. I'm happy that I didn't. I am glad that I stuck with it, but it was quite the struggle, especially in the middle, to be excited about a lot of the things that were happening in this book. So The Rage of Dragons is the first in what I think is going to be a series. I don't know how many books they're going to be, but it's definitely the first book. And this is an epic African-inspired epic fantasy novel, and in this we have the Omehi people who have been training for war for as long as their people can remember. That's what they do. And some of the women in the world can control dragons, and then men in the world, they become much bigger and stronger men on the battlefield. And so we definitely have a pretty large range of abilities and a very sizable caste system in this world. And so our main character, Tao, he really doesn't want any part in what his people are doing. He just wants to settle down with the young woman in the village that he loves and just lead a peaceful life away from all the fighting, violence, and all that. But something happens. Someone very close to Tao is brutally murdered, and that just starts a really epic revenge story. So what's the problem? Why didn't I enjoy this as much as I thought I would? I was so excited for this. I was not prepared for how heavy in military and fighting and sparring and everything like that this book is. This book is marketed as a cross between like Gladiator and something else, and it is very much heavy on the Gladiator feel of it. I think if you are not into military fantasy like that, maybe not go into this right away, because for me, that really just slogged down the story. And it's like, it's so weird too, because it's like the fighting is necessary because Tao, he's weak. He doesn't really, he's not strong. He has to build himself up, work himself up to be able to go after the people who killed the person that was close to him. So you really are getting this realistic portrayal of him getting beat down and him going through the ranks of the training that he has to do to get to where he needs to be. But I just did not find it all that interesting to read about. And it's probably because Tal himself, I did not find him to be a very interesting character throughout most of the story. I think the people around him were 100 times stronger. It's not that I didn't like this book. Overall, at the end, I did. And like I said, I am happy that I stuck with it and didn't DNF it. I am looking forward to the second book because the first one, this one ended, I thought it ended great. I thought the last maybe 75 pages were just excellent. But just the journey felt really like kind of walking through mud a lot of the times. And then finally, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Ninth House, you guys. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Wow. I wasn't expecting Leigh Bardugo to go this hard, but this was incredible. So Ninth House is an urban fantasy novel, and in it we have our main character, Alex Stern. I almost called her Alexie. Her name is Galaxy, but they call her Alex. Alex Stern. Alex is the lone survivor of something really horrific that happened over a year ago, and she gets an opportunity to study at Yale under the condition that she kind of keeps an eye on the activities of what the societies at Yale are up to. And so as she's going through her time at Yale, kind of keeping an eye on things, something else horrific happens. This girl cannot catch a break. Something else terrible happens, and this young woman is found dead on campus. And that kind of starts the story in motion. This book is told in two different timelines. We're getting Alex in the past, a year ago, and just her life and everything and how she ended up in that terrible situation that she did. And then we're also getting the book in the present timeline with Alex actually at Yale and in the society and that kind of thing. And oh, it's so good. It's so good. I can see how you might not like this book because there are a couple of things. First of all, it's extremely slow. It is very slow. It's a lot of very heavy on the prose, especially in the past. You're getting a lot of Alex's backstory and her home life and the crowd that she got wrapped up in. And so that's the first thing. And then the second one, this book is dark. This book is extremely, I cannot stress this enough. This book is extremely dark. The matter of fact mentions of death and murder and blood and sexual assault and drugs. And I mean, it's very infused into this story because Alex has had a very troubled life, a really terrible past. And in the present storyline, the societies are just all about, you know, doing these occult activities that require like blood and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, it's a lot. It can be a lot at times, but I'll warn you against that. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the heck out of this book. I wasn't expecting Leigh Bardugo to write something like this. I was actually a little blown away. Her writing, I think more so than in something like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, where you knew she could tell a good story and create really fascinating characters, but I feel like her prose actually had a chance to shine a lot more in Ninth House. There are some passages of prose, especially in Alex's past, where I was just really blown away in some places because you really feel like Leigh Bardugo understands her characters inside out, and that really comes across when you're reading this book. It's so good. I need the second one ASAP. I'm just so invested now. Easy 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. But like I said, it is bloody, it's gory, it's hard to read, it is dark, and it is slow. So keep that in mind. So that is it for me, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments what great books you've read recently, which books you have DNF'd recently, and what books were just kind of okay. I want to hear about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.